Alright guys, welcome back to VALORANT. These major roster confirmations last night. Ethan officially confirmed to be continuing with NRG for the next 2 seasons on that organisation. Some questions after what happened with Som. Would that continue with Ethan as well on the team that is currently the reigning World Championship roster? And Ethan now a 2-time World Champion. But what's going on elsewhere? Big roster updates with regard to whether Mindfreak is getting the spot on Liquid we thought he might. But also G2, they were scrimming FURIA over the last couple of days with that new FURIA roster. And it doesn't look like it's going so well for that G2 team. Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I'd greatly appreciate it. Just to quickly mention, there's lots of Valorant going on right now. This is one of the qualifiers currently happening for the Soup Valorant League. So the Soup Valorant League is the 2nd of December through to the 7th. We've seen this before. We're going to see it again. It's out in Korea. They've got a Southeast Asian qualifier currently ongoing. These are those respective games. One of them is actually just about to get back underway. So, yeah, the team that wins this, and only the team that wins this, they will make it through to the main event. We don't yet have any details of the main event, who's going to go, who's not going to be there. So we'll see in due course. NRG, of course, notably won it last time around. We've got the Red Bull home grounds in New York coming up in a few days. So some big notable off-season events to start to see where these teams are really at. Quickly on Loud. We've been seeing a lot of these tweets over the last few days, you know, jokes or whatever you want to say. But they say Obrigado Pancada, but they've not got rid of him or anything like that, so do not be concerned too much about that. We do have a couple of Rostermania developments here. So Wildfire confirms he's a free agent for Challengers and also the VCT. Maryville University decided to pursue other options, so the Rostermania changes are certainly trickling down. We've also got this from Secret Envy, thought was kind of interesting because, I mean, as we can see here, Secret have actually been playing a series. They took down Zipto yesterday, and well, Envy not noted on the Secret lineup. So despite being signed to the organization as it stands, they are, well, they're doing a couple of interesting things, right? We don't really know exactly what they're trialing. This is what their official lineup looks like, but of course, that's not enough for a full team. And right now, they've got Sylvan, they've still got Jesse Vash, but there's no Envy, right, in that roster. So are they going to get rid of him? Are they trialing alternatives? Is he going to come back? I don't know. It's an interesting question, but he tweets out zero respect. Cat face crying laughing emoji. So, well, is there any tea? We'll see. One thing to keep an eye on. Couple of other updates. BBL Esports and Magnum parting ways. So BBL Esports, we know that they've totally blown it up. Their, what do they call it, affiliate team in Pacific Academy or Pacific BBL Pacific, they won Ascension, so they got through to the league, and that entire roster of 5 has now ended up on BBL Esports for next season. Controversial, all the circumstances around that. But it does mean that BBL are wiping house, and it does also mean that Pacific Esports, having also qualified, they will need to find a brand new roster. The other big development, speaking of Turkish players, is on Karmine Core. So Loon was a really solid player last year for BBL, and apparently he will be the player to round out the Karmine Core roster for next season. So this is what they're looking at. We've got Loon coming in, Shados, Ave, DOS9, and then Sugetsu rounding out the roster. So what do we think about this Karmine Core team? If it is the full roster, they've kept a similar thing going from a coaching perspective. It's, you know, it's kind of all over the place in some respects, but also I think I like the vision, right? I think there's actually a lot of talent on that roster. It's quite a different approach to last year. Again, Karmine Core have a massive fan base, and you always do wonder whether having some sort of French player or French contingent could be a good idea there. We know that Fnatic have just signed Vicage, like a notable French player that maybe they could have gone and got. That's not how it's worked out. So, yeah, very interesting roster if that is the full team of 5, but certainly a lot of firepower there. Like, I will say, there is certainly a lot of firepower on this team. Maybe it's the season where Karmine Core start to come good, and it does feel like if you want to be good in Valorant right now, certainly in Europe, you need at least one Turkish player on your lineup. Now, let's talk if that's going to be the case for Team Liquid, because Liquid ended last season on a reasonable run of form, but still not good enough in the end. We rumoured a little bit whether Chronicle could end up there instead, but that's not happened, as we know he's gone to Vitality alongside Durka, which has left Liquid needing to do quite a rebuild. Things were not clear at the end of last season whether that team really got along with one another. That has clearly been the case with some of the changes that we have seen over the last few weeks, and as a result, I mean, we've even got Keiko is going to NRG, right, to join the reigning world champions. So it's not been ideal for Liquid in terms of trying to rebuild their roster, but they are looking to sign, we think, Wayne. So there was two options, really, for Liquid. They were trialling Wayne and they were trialling Mindfreak. Of course, Mindfreak off the Paper X team. It was expected maybe that he would, get an opportunity back, and maybe he still will, but it doesn't look like it's going to be here on Liquid. They've elected to go for Wayne instead. Now, top quality tier 2 player, by the way, so this is not to say that it's like, oh, Mindfreak is just washed up now or anything, but they did the trials, presumably, and they decided that Wayne was the way to go. They're not going to continue with Mindfreak as an option, so he will have to go somewhere else. But yeah, he was a notable player in Ascension last year. He was on Disguised for a little bit as well. And, well, this is the team of 4 as it stands. So Nats is still there, Camo's still there, Miniboo is coming in, and then Wayne as well. So this is a pretty nice team that they're forming too. Intuit your thoughts in the comments. A lot of these rosters, pretty difficult to predict how they're actually going to get along, right? On, certainly how they're going to contend with one another. But this is a team of 4. We'll see where they go to round out their roster if that turns out to be true. But yeah, no Mindfreak on that roster as it stands. Maybe he will end up elsewhere, but we'll see. Wayne from Motive Esports is officially, not officially, but rumoured to be on that roster, with some pretty solid sources indicating that is going to be the case. So these are the notable changes. Sociably to Na'Vi, Wayne to Team Liquid, Luin to Carmine Core. Those are the updates that we've seen over the last few days. And just to therefore briefly look at EMEA, not to say that there aren't interesting updates in other regions as well, because there certainly will be, but this is how it currently looks. So Heretics, they're bringing back Rienz. Of course, they had Patty Tech in playing that tournament out there, but that didn't really go to plan. He'll be back soon enough, we think. For esports, not all completely locked in, but likely they will continue in a pretty similar way. Gentlemates, we're pretty sure, well, that's what they're going to do. Giant X, they've confirmed their roster. Vitality are still looking for one. Sayonara, I don't think is quite old enough yet to step in, but he'll still be their sub. Na'Vi, BBL, ULF Esports, I guess time will tell. They're also one of the other teams that got through Ascension. Liquid, KC, and Fnatic. So, to be fair, most of the rosters now in Europe are pretty solidified, but not to say that things couldn't change in the coming days anyway. But let's talk about the Americas, because big update yesterday was from Ethan. We saw the update shortly after the World Championship that Som was officially stepping away, going to go into retirement for at least some time. He didn't rule out coming back at some point, but I think there's a good chance that the last ever tournament that Som plays competitively, at least, proper official VC tournaments, was winning the World Championship, which is quite the way to go out. Now, Ethan, there were some questions over, right? Because he's now the only two-time world champion in Valorant. Won with EG a couple of years ago, captained IGL's this NRG team to similar success. We did wonder, would he just say, enough's enough, right? Like that was quite the way to go out. I never really thought that he would do that, but it was not a total impossibility. But it looks like he's officially back, because he was removed from his contract for some time. He was off the database for like a week and a half, 2 weeks now. They removed his contract and we were like, okay, are they going to re-sign another one with different terms, or what's that going to look like? But that is now official. So Ethan has officially re-signed with NRG for the next 2 seasons. So this is not just a 1-year extension, as we have seen elsewhere, but this is a 2-year addition until 2027. So fair play to Ethan. I think it's great to see him around. Quality player from his CS days into what he's achieved in Valorant as well. And to see, the first ever 2-time world champion keep going on that path. And who knows what could be potentially still achieved in the future, captaining up that roster. But yeah, Som's gone. Keiko, we think, is in. Still going to be a very deadly team, I think, NRG next season. Maybe we'll see them in action at the Soup Valorant League or something in due course. Speaking of the Americas, though, the other teams that I wanted to spend the last few minutes talking about are these two. So G2, we still don't know what they're doing, right? We see Leaf, Trent, Valin, Jorgamo. All of their scrims we have seen these 4, but we don't know a 5th. Are they playing 4v5 or what's going on? Is Josh RT subbing in? There's been no Jonah P, but maybe they should bring him back. I don't know. Obviously, scrims are scrims. But the point is, FURIA have their new roster. They've got Nerve over there. They've got Alim over there, Koala Noob. It's a very interesting team that they formed. But FURIA do seem to be cooking a little bit, certainly compared to last year. This Scrimbux started off at a 5-0. It then went to, maybe it was even a different one to be fair, but because we see Josh RT here and said different type of screenshots, but there was also another one that was 11-2. Might have been the same, might have been a different one. The point is that G2 and FURIA were having a scrim, and it wasn't, okay, look, it is scrims, but still, when it's 11-2, it's pretty clear, right, that one team is looking better than the other, you would think. Now, okay, these could be cherry-picked scrims, not cherry-picked, but, you know, we don't see every single scrim. Maybe G2 are doing fine, but there's been quite a few screenshots over the last few days with no Jonah P, where they have not exactly been dominating their scrims, especially against a team like FURIA that, yeah, I kind of like the direction they've gone in, but it's not like they are the reigning world champions, right? So that's the question really for a team like G2, what they're cooking right now, because they've got to be trialing someone instead of Jonah P. Jonah P's done a couple of tweets that have implied he's no longer going to be on that roster, and we've not seen him in any scrims now for what feels like weeks. So whoever the fifth is that they're trialing, whether it is 1/5 or whether it's multiple fifths, or we don't really know what's going on, but they're clearly doing something, aren't they? Because otherwise they would just have confirmed that everything was set in stone. They've not done that. They've not actually confirmed Leaf is back yet either. They confirmed Valen and Trent, and Jorgamo's contract was never disappearing anyway. So, but Leaf's been all their scrims. I think he's probably coming back. The question is who their fifth is, and it doesn't seem like it's going to be Jonah P, but I don't know. Maybe it should be, because their scrims haven't been so good, presumably, since trialing whatever that they're doing right now. But look, G2 still have a lot of pull, that's for sure. But who are they going to get? I don't know. Good question. Cloud9 had a scrim as well. This was 7-1. Again, scrims, one thing, tournaments, different thing. We'll see what happens when, you know, they play their next tournament. But very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care. And I'll see you next time.